Hello, everyone. This is your host, Gerald Morris. I serve as an adjunct professor of law at the Nova Southeastern University Shepherd Broad College of Law, and I'm a Florida Bar board-certified health lawyer and former general counsel to Holy Cross Hospital in Fort Lauderdale. It's a pleasure to welcome you to another podcast from the Nova Southeastern University's Geriatric Work Enhancement Program. This podcast is made to encourage, enhance, and promote all those fantastic health professionals working with older adults, including those with Alzheimer's disease and dementia, and their caregivers and support systems. In today's episode, we are taking an in-depth look at video supplements to advance directives with our subject matter expert, NSU law professor, Kathy Cerminara. Professor Cerminara is a longtime professor of law with the NSU Shepherd Broad College of Law. She obtained her law degree, magna cum laude, from the University of Pittsburgh and earned both her master's degree and her JSD doctorate in law degree from Columbia University. She teaches at the NSU Law School as well as in the HPD programs and has written and lectured extensively on the special legal, ethical, and practical issues surrounding patients' rights and end-of-life decision-making, all of which are highly relevant to today's discussion. So hello, Professor Cerminara, and welcome. Can we start by you telling us why this topic is important to those who provide care to geriatric patients or manage the affairs of older adults?
Hi, Jerry. Thanks. Good to be here. I am happy to talk about this subject. It's really of crucial importance because everyone knows, especially people who work with the geriatric population, everyone knows that end of life brings conflicts. No matter how much families have discussed matters, no matter how much all the caregivers have thought about what the patient's wishes are with respect to end-of-life care, some questions arise, and it's not unusual for some of the family members or caregivers or perhaps the other friends of the person who is in a terminal condition or otherwise nearing their end of life. It's not unusual for people to question what should be done with respect to treatment. Video supplements to advance directives can help head off those sorts of questions, and they can also help resolve those sorts of questions when they arise.
For the podcast audience, would you share a little more specifically what is it that today's health professionals, caregivers, and others should know about this topic?
Absolutely. The most important thing to know about this topic is that you may start to see them in practice. And it's not unusual, and it's perfectly legal, and the legal system views it as helpful in the same way that it views these sorts of video supplements helpful in traditional wills contest or traditional disputes about who is going to get the family heirloom.
Looking into the future, how do you see this as changing or benefiting healthcare involving geriatric patients or those with diminishing mental or physical capabilities?
As people become older, or as caregivers are nearing end-of-life decisions with people of intellectual or developmental disability or other dementia, other forms of dementia, there is a tendency, no matter how certain you believe that you are about a person's wishes, there is a tendency to second guess. And to second guess your judgment, to second guess the judgment of others who are involved in caregiving. These video supplements don't take the place of advance directive documents, although in some cases they may end up being the only evidence of someone's wishes because very few of us actually execute advance directives or discuss them with their family members or physicians. But in addition to those documents or previous oral statements, this video evidence can enhance everyone's understanding and can give some assurance to one of the caregivers, can assure someone, for example, that by the language "no extraordinary treatment," a person did intend to include, if that person intended to include it, the administration of medically supplied nutrition and hydration. That's one of the flashpoints of end-of-life decision-making, and people have very strongly held beliefs about those. And anecdotes show that if the family members who believe that such treatment should be continued in the face of a patient's previous expression of a desire to not receive it, those anecdotes show that the family members who are protesting have been known to watch the video to see how earnest the patient was at the time of making the statement that those tubes should be removed, and have been known to capitulate.
Well, in terms of clinical care and education and perhaps research, what do you suggest that interested parties can do in furtherance of this subject?
Interested parties who would like to learn more about video advance directives, or rather video supplements to advance directives, in states other than Maryland. In Maryland, you can actually have a video advance directive. Should look at some data that is being produced by geriatric societies on this issue. There is a recent law review article that is written for regular people to understand, that is easily available by Googling, our friend Google, and ethics centers are beginning to publish research about this sort of improvement in the advanced directive practice.
In addition to those, Professor Cerminara, are there any other specific resources that might be available on this subject?
I would suggest that ethics committees at facilities, if there is a person at your facility or one of the facilities that you practice at who is in charge of ethics education, I would suggest that that person, that committee, begin to collect some resources about this, because it's almost certain that this will increase in prevalence over the next few years, and it would be great for everyone to be ready to see these video supplements.
Well, thank you very much, Professor Cerminara, and to our audience, we thank you for joining us today. Please stay tuned for upcoming topics from our renowned subject matter experts.
Thank you.